Okay, today we're going to fix the digitizer on this Galaxy S3. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos on this particular project, you'll know that I spoke about fixing the flex cable, because when I undid it, I snipped it around here. But what was not explained to me was that when you're cleaning up this tape that's been previously stuck around here, you do not under any circumstances start to cut away this brown tape, because behind this digitizer there is a little card, a little chip that actually controls the touch screen itself. So what's happened is, if I just put the battery in and switch that on, okay, so we've got it now switched on. Basically, if you clip this here, then you lose your touch. So instead of this project costing me £5, it's now pushed up with an additional £76 to get a brand new digitizer. So I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to show you exactly where this connects up to. So I can't even power it off anymore because I haven't got the digitizer on there. Oh, one last thing I'd like to mention: if you have the ability to back up your photos and you haven't done this kind of project before and you still can get into the phone but it's a cracked screen, back everything up, because you cannot guarantee that you're going to finish the job. And this is a mistake I made, and yes, I probably still would have ended up having to put the screen on and put a brand new digitizer on, but at least the precious photos of the person that owns this phone would not have got lost. Okay, before I take off the back, in case you haven't watched my other video, this was already accessible to me. So that's how I managed to get that in the home return flex cable, menu return flex cable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to show you exactly what went wrong with the scraping of this. So first of all, we're going to take the back off. I shall be fast forwarding this. If you've come through and you've done another, you're off the back of someone else who's repaired the phone, you're going to find some missed screws and some of the work is not that brilliant. I've got a screw here missing as well now. Okay, here it is. That was me. I couldn't seem to get these out. Anyway, so I shall fast forward this piece. A useful tip, if you have a cover, is to just pop the screws into there. Okay. So that's that all done. Right, now we need to remove the back. And that's the back removed. Right, from here I'm going to just remove one thing because I want to just go over again this thing about the digitizer and the damage that I did. Okay, what I also want to do on this video is to make sure that we can understand how to remove all the clips. Right, so the clip that you need to get the digitizer out is this clip here. It's quite a simple affair. There's a little hole you can pull through. So you can just push it through that. And that whole piece comes off. Right, so we're on the back now. So the bit that I scraped off was on this side, and there's a ribbon with this little unit here that has been put on. There's there's obviously all circuits underneath here. So when you don't know what you're doing, and I haven't had this explained on another video, so I thought, well, I'll take this opportunity to explain it. That is a ribbon as well that was stuck on from the original when this was manufactured, and you do not under any circumstances want to clip that, because it is like this. If you clip this, this doesn't work. This is much more sealed, and what fooled me was this is all brown, that was brown, but in actual fact that's a slightly darker brown. I don't know if that'll come out on the video, but that's a darker brown. But you don't want to be messing with any of this. There is this glue that gets put on here when they stick these screens back down, but you're better off just leaving that glue and don't fiddle with this stuff, because you'll damage your touch screen. And then even if you haven't mashed this up, pretty much you just can't get into the phone at all. Right, so that's that piece done. So what I want to do now is unpack the new digitizer. I'm going to clip it into there, going to switch it on, and hopefully we can get it working, and then I can see that it's working before I try and seal it all on there. Okay, so this is the new digitizer. So you get a shell. It's very similar to this. I'm going to transfer that sticker over onto there, and yeah, I mean it's pretty close. I wanted to actually check about this aerial here, because there is no aerial here. I can see that now. So I need to make sure I can cross that over, get that onto there. So that's an important piece as well to do. I don't know if I'm going to need that. No, I won't need that connected up. Right, so the plan is, okay, the plan is, obviously I need to test this. Okay, so there's the front. So you get everything on this. You get the whole thing. So that I'm going to try and slip through there and clip it down and see what happens. Okay, I've decided not to do that because it's far too much of a fiddle. So what this means is I'm going to have to undo that baby and transfer as much as I can across to that side. Right, so the first bit we take off is this top bit. So we need to unclip this one here, like that. And this is not that. It's a little scary, but it's it does come off fairly easily. We're using the wrong tool again. see if I can get it from there. I want to avoid using a metal screwdriver where possible. Okay, there we go. Right, so that was clip number 1 right there. So put that to one side. Now on the video that I watched, it said there's one black screw here. Well, when I opened this up, there was no black screw on there, so that is that. Now I'm looking here at this aerial here, and that looks pretty sealed into that. So the fact I don't have an aerial on here is a bit of a concern. That means I've got to somehow transfer that over to there, because how's that going to work? Yeah, I'd hate to have to take this in now just for that one small thing, but there's definitely no aerial on here. Right, let's carry on. Okay, so that unclips. There it goes. So that's unclip 1. We've undone that one. That was a digitizer. So you got another one here. And if I remember correctly, yeah, I think that's it. Oh yes, we got another one over here. That's right. That's it. That's that one. Good. Right. So that all lifts out like that. So here are your clips. 1 which connects to here, 2 which connects to here, 3 which connects to there, and 4 which comes off the digitizer there. Right. So now I'm going to swap this over. Bring the new boy over. And there's actually quite a bit missing on this. Okay, so I thought this was going to be a simple job, but I've got this feeling I'm a bit out of my depth here, because this all looks soldered down tight onto the metal chassis. There's all sorts of things going on, all sorts of wires going on. So I'm not hopeful that I can finish this job. But I'm going to see if I can connect it to the main memory. And so I'm going to put this back on and see how far I can get, just to protect what's underneath already. Just going to put a few screws in. Just to keep it down. Well, they didn't tell me that on the brochure. So now I know why they want to charge £135 to fix a £165 phone now, which is the price of it now. I hope I'm not going to blow anything up by doing this. Oh, it's impossible. I can't even switch it on. Okay, that is a massive stuff up. Well, I don't understand that. How can they supply that? And then how are you supposed to get all this stuff on there unless somehow that comes out? I think that's what I've got to do. I think somehow I have to get this shell out that's in here and put that in there as well. Okay, that's what I've got to do. Right, let me figure that out. Alright, so I've had a little think about how I want to do this. So my primary objective is to recover the photos. So I'm kind of thinking at this stage I might need to just return this Digitiser, but what I'm gonna do, there it is, because I've worked out you can actually power this on if you just can get a little pin or something in there and push the power switch on. So I can get in there with that. I'm going to just secure this for now on here and then try and power it on and then get the photos off and then decide what I'm going to do after that. Because I've had a good look at this and there seems to be these little poppers and this sort of looks like it all clips down, but I'm going to have to remove this, this is all got to come off, and the biggest concern I have is getting this magnet out here and getting these bits out. I mean, they're so flush, I don't even know how I'm going to do it. So I'm quite concerned about that, and the first priority is to get the photos off, so that is what I'm going to try and do. Okay, so pop that in there, and I need something very skinny to put the power on. Okay, power is now on. There's no sound. Okay. I am now in. Right. I'm going to go save the photos. Alright. I've decided to have a little go. I got my hairdryer out and I heated up these items here because they were a bit sticky. So we got this far. That's managed to pop out. When you compare it to the other one, you see this is how you can tell what needs to still come out. So you see this is all blank here, all down here. Got to get this out. And then this whole unit over here clips in. And that's the bit I'm trying to get out as well. So I'm up to about here with it. And I'm just going to try and heat that whole section around there and pull that all off, and then once I've done that I think I've got quite a bit of it done, and it's just this bit which is really quite tightly placed in there, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to work that out, but I think I've got to get this little baby out first. So I'm going to apply a bit more heat and have a bit more of a fiddle and see how I'll get on with that. I've been stuck on trying to get this bit out here, so there comes a time when you have to kind of commit to damaging the frame and saying, well, that's it, that can no longer be used, because there's no other way to get this thing out. So this is the bit, this is the last bit here. This is a separate piece over here, which is obviously vitally important because that is the the radio, and if that doesn't work then we're completely wasting our time. So I've got to really make sure I don't damage that. But this bit I've nearly got now, so I shall carry on with that. Alright, so I dug that bit out of there, which goes into there. So that piece now transfers over to there. And yep, get that bit in there. That's got obviously a little flash in there for that bit over there. So, right, this is one of the most vital pieces, because this will not be used as a phone if I don't get that right. And this piece here is for the sound. So these are the last two bits, and this bit here, which I'm still quite weary about how to get that out. Looking in here, it's a whole piece that goes all in there that's got to come out. Okay, so that piece was in there like that, and just with a bit of heat applied, it popped out really quite sweetly. So that's the bit that's got to go over there now and come all the way back down here. So I've only got 2 more bits to go now. Okay, for all those experts out there watching me painfully mash away, I see that there's a screw here, which I've only just spotted. So out she comes. And that should just wiggle out now, with a bit of luck. Okay, maybe not, without a fight. Managed to get that little piece out. And so now, the last little, there it is, that's the bit. So that was going in that way, like that. And then underneath there's another piece, which connects to this piece. So now that hopefully will come out without anything. It sounds a bit sticky there, but I think we're nearly out there. Yeah, it's nearly out. That's it. So that's that bit out. So that's the bit that's got to go in there, and so on and so forth. What I'm not going to do is, because if I can't get that last bit out, I have to return this. So it's vitally important I pull out all the pieces carefully first, and then once I'm confident I've done that, I reckon I can get this all back in. Back to where I was. So this is the piece I'm trying to get out now, so I'm going to move that out the way now. I don't need that anymore. There. Now, I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to see if I can pull some of this away from there so I can get some kind of purchase on it, because at the moment I can't get any purchase at all into that area to peel it off like these others have peeled off. So that's what I want to try and do. So I'm going to have a little go at that and see what I can do. Okay, what I'm doing at the moment, I'm just peeling this outer case off like so. see if I can get in a bit tighter here. It's a little sharp, so you don't have any pieces in there. Alright, so that's not really helped a tremendous amount. Let's see if I can bust some of this off over here. Okay, so I've got a little purchase here now. So I'm going to heat that up and see if I can peel that off. Okay, I got a little bit of purchase on there. So we are slowly but surely working our way down. This is on really tight. This will be the last little bit, which I don't want to rush to get that off. I'll put a bit more heat on that. Okay, I figured I was never going to get it undone with the plastic tool, so I have resorted to going under it with a blade. Okay, so there's the problem. Okay, last bit out. Okay, so I did have to dig deep to get that baby out. I am really in uncharted territory here with this whole job, so I'm hoping that I can finish this off now and make a decision about whether I continue to migrate it over to the new one. Okay, now I've got that little piece in there now, so now it's time to put the camera piece in and all the bits that goes with that. So that was the awkward bit that had to go down there. Right, let me reheat that, because that is slightly sticky, and place that in there. Okay, so I'm going to carry on here. What I plan to do is just to put some of this in loose to see if I can test to make sure that the radio is working. I can see now why they stuck all this stuff down. There's no point me doing all of that if the speaker's not working. Okay, so what I've done, I've temporarily put this on, haven't fixed everything down. I thought I'd just give it a little test to see if I can get the sound to come on. Alright, I've just run a full test on this. I haven't secured everything on the bottom and inside. I'm still using that to power it on and off, but the test I did was for sound and for radio, so I can call out, receive, that's all working fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo it again and just reseal it. Alright, we're going to try and finish this job off now. So I just need to retrace my steps as to what needs to go back on. Now if I'm not mistaken, that bit there needs to screw back on that way, like that. That's it. That back in there. Okay, so I basically did a full test on the phone. What I found is that if you are testing it, these connectors here need to push quite firmly to those two connectors there to get your sound. So if it's not screwed on tight, when you test it, you can't get your sound, but that's all worked fine. I've made a call, that's fine. So we're good to go to the final level of actually putting this whole thing back together again. And I think what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to glue all this stuff down for now. And I think if there's any more repairs on this, I'm going to do them. So at least I know who's been in here and what's going on. Good. Right, so I shall carry on with that. Let's get those back in. So that's the power button. I presume that probably only goes one way in. Nope. Oh, that clipped in beautifully. Cool. Right. Makes a change. Let's put this one back in. I think that doesn't matter which way that goes. Right, those are back in. Now we put the board back. Right, that's got to go under, that's got to go over, so we need to pull that back a bit. And then that's it. That's it. That's it. Get that back in its box. That goes there. Oops. Right. Got to get that aerial out. Okay, make sure that that is on the top. There we go. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's back down. That's clipped in nicely. And oh yeah, there it is. It's such a tiny little thing, this. Yep, that's on. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to get this one in. That's it, and then pop that on. Yep, that's on. Good. Good, good, good. Right. I'll just do a quick scan. I think I've got everything on there now. So we've gone from that. Unfortunately, I had to mangle that to get safely into the last piece here with the magnetic speakers here, the magnet for that. and you're rather better off, once you've made your decision, to cream that. And I wonder if that bit should go back on. I don't know what that is. But once you've made your decision, then you've got to go for it. You've got to start slicing this up. Okay, so screws back on. Okay, so that's all back in. I seem to have mislaid a screw here and here, but I'll sort that out later and find out where that is. And that's it. All done. Battery in. That cover on. Let's test a video for the sound buttons. Okay, down volume okay. Accelerometer doesn't seem to be working. Okay, done. Good. Right, I'll just finish off the last little bits, but that is job done. So, I'm well pleased, because I was right in the dog box once I'd lost the photos, but hopefully that'll be a good job now. What I'm going to show now is the last few bits that we're missing on this phone. Right, so one of the things I wanted to get was a pack of screws. I had two missing, so I went to my local store in town in Worthing, the old Gladstone Bags. There was a chap there selling second-hand phones and also doing smartphone repairs. So I went in there and I said, have you got 2 screws I can buy? So he turned to me and said, yes, they're £2 each. So as you can imagine, I was pretty flabbergasted by that. Anyway, I tried to knock him down, wasn't having it. It was late on a Saturday. I really wanted to finish the job off. So I went around and I asked a few other guys. Nobody had screws, and they all thought it was a joke, really. So I thought, right, by the time I've done post and packaging, I'll probably end up paying £3. So I thought, I'll bite the bullet. I'll try and haggle him down for 5 screws for £5 or something. But he wasn't having it. The best offer he had was £5 for 3 screws, right? So I said, all right then, come on, let's do it. And then he didn't even have the screws. So that evening I went online. So for £1.29, post and packaging free, first class mail, I got 10 screws. So I put them in, and that's that sorted out. The accelerometer was not a problem. Basically, it hadn't been set at the top here, screen rotation. So once I'd set that up, we were good to go. So I'll just show that in action. So there you go. That's all working fine.
Got a little project I've been doing before.
Right, so today's the day I hand the phone back. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for watching.